This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I am Sean Anderson. Alongside me is Ricky Widmer, and he will be with us for at least 29 more shows as he will be gone in January.
Yeah.
We're just counting down now. Farewell tour for Ricky.
Good luck with that.
And I'm joined by Dave Oster, who will be here for at least 30 more shows.
Surprisingly enough.
Until your contract runs up, and then we're going to go by show if he shows up.
That's the bigger question. Who misses the show first, me or Dave?
I would say you, because you're going to be fired in January.
Yep.
He's Cal Ripken. He's not going to miss.
I don't do it. I never miss. What are you talking about?
Always miss.
Nope.
Dave's got perfect attendance. I've missed. Dave's never missed.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave's perfect attendance. Dave's going Cal Ripken style. You're going in January. Sorry, bud. You got 29 more. This is the 30, and we got 29 the next day.
We'll see.
29 more. Anyways, we are talking about Jamal Murray possibly being the number one pick. You know, John Calipari, is he talking out of his ass, saying that he is the best prospect, that he should be going number one? Is he talking out of his ass here? Then we're going to go over and talk about Harrison Barnes. His contract's running up. Warriors said they'll match any deal that goes out on the market. We'll see if that's true. We'll see if they should even do that. And then we'll go over and talk about Kevin Love, the scapegoat for the Cavaliers. Should the Cavs trade him after the NBA Finals? Should they get him off? And should they have a Kevin Love free year and go mainly with LeBron James and Kyrie Irving? Let's jump into this. Calipari saying that Jamal Murray is the best prospect in the NBA draft. He's saying he's better than Ben Simmons. He's saying he's better than Brandon Ingram. He's saying he's better than Marquise Chriss. He's saying better than Dragon Bender. Is John Calipari right? Should Jamal Murray be going number one?
Calipari's just backing his own guy in this case. I don't totally buy into it. He had an impressive performance this past year, and then an even more impressive showing at the Celtics camp where he shot like 79 of 100 from the three-point line, which is ridiculous. But at the same time, that's unguarded. That's, without having any pressure. So, all right, it's still impressive, but it's not as impressive as you make it out to be.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, 79% from three. And if you can do that, then yeah, I would say draft him number one. But again, that's unguarded. I think anyone could probably do that. I think Steph did 93 from 100 in practice one time, unguarded. So, I mean, anyone can really, any NBA player who's known as a shooter can do that. I'm not saying Ben Simmons can do that unguarded, but, Jamal Murray, who's known for a shooter, he's definitely going to be able to do that. And the question was really, Jamal Murray may be the best scorer in the draft, but can he guard anyone? Do you think that Calipari's just backing his own guy there?
Well, it's kind of half and half, because the way I see it is, first off, this could be A, Calipari backing his own guy. B, it could be him saying, hey, look at this. We've dissected Brandon Ingram and Ben Simmons so much, and I say we as like the entire sports media, to where we can pick out their faults from a million miles away. He's saying, hey, you know what? Maybe Jamal Murray doesn't have as many flaws. And then the third thing I can see as this kind of being is Coach Cal going, look at the other guys that I've produced for you guys that have been great prospects in the NBA.
Yeah, I look at Calipari, and I think it's mainly him just backing his guy because, of course, what do you think he's going to come out and say? Yeah, you know what? I didn't have the best players this year. I didn't have the Brandon Ingram. I didn't have the Ben Simmons. I wasn't able to recruit him because that's just going to look terrible for recruiting. Right. If he comes out and says, I'll back you no matter what, whether there's a clear consensus number one in Ben Simmons, there's a clear consensus in number two in Brandon Ingram, I'm going to back you no matter what. You're my guy. I believe in you. I brought you into the Kentucky system because you're my guy. You're going to be the guy who succeeds in the NBA. And I don't think he's that crazy saying that he's one of the best players in the draft.
He's not. Yeah, he's not too far off. But at the same time, he's not in the same category as Ben Simmons or Brandon Ingram. Their upside is like off the charts. We've seen just a small fragment of their play with Jamal Murray. Again, he's a younger guy. He's only 19. But the weakness is there, and it was clear the whole season. It was always his lack of defensive versatility. Look, he can play a little bit, but if guys start stretching him one way or the other, and if they get the first step on him, he can't keep up. So I'm sorry, like Ricky, you mentioned we dug really deep into Ben Simmons. We looked at his weaknesses. Same with Brandon Ingram.
I'm not saying Murray doesn't have weaknesses.
No, I know, but so we've completely invested our time to see all that. And, maybe there's a little shadow over Jamal Murray. It's like, we haven't dug so deep here.
And the one thing that I kind of feel like is more of, it's kind of what Sean was saying. It looks bad to recruits if you don't back your own guy.
Yeah.
But I really do think it's also Calipari saying, look at who I've given you since I've been at Kentucky. Since 2009 when he's been there, John Wall I'd throw in there, DeMarcus Cousins, Patrick Patterson I would throw in there as just a viable option. Eric Bledsoe, Enes Kanter, Brandon Knight, Anthony Davis. You can throw MKG, Kid Gilchrist in there. I'd even throw Julius Randle, Cat, Willie Cauley-Stein, Devin Booker, and then, oh, wait, we got to go back to his Memphis days for the big one in Derrick Rose.
I mean, you're forgetting, Terrence Jones, Marcus Teague, Doran Lamb. I mean, these are NBA stars here.
Well, I'm not saying, like...
Not everybody's going to hit it.
The three big ones are John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, and Anthony Davis. But, I mean, look at Devin Booker. He's a guy for the Suns that we're talking, hey, you know what? Whenever we bring up Suns drafts, we're talking about his key in the future. Look at Cat. He's one of the biggest stars on a young, upcoming Timberwolves team. I mean, Nerlens, he's a guy in the trade rumors that teams are going after because they want him. This is something where I think Calipari said, hey, look at my guys in the NBA. They're wanted.
I believe something. I think the one thing that I was trying to do there, I believe it's called giving you shit.
No, I know.
But yeah.
I'm pretty sure Calipari just goes, when I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
Exactly. Ricky Bobby up in here.
Yep.
Ricky Bobby.
He can do no wrong. That's basically where we're going with
If you ain't
this.
first, you're last.
Now, maybe we should simplify the question. Maybe he shouldn't be going number one because I think we all believe that he should not be going number one. I think we all believe that Ben Simmons should be the number one pick. Some people might say Brandon Ingram. If you disagree,
Ben Simmons is the pick, but I still want to throw this out there. In a alternate reality, if Murray did go first, he wouldn't be a bad fit for the 76ers because all they would have to do is, in my mind, trade Okafor, keep Nerlens, and then
trade him?
You get the... Because you still have a crowded backcourt. I mean, you could keep Okafor if you want, but you can use him to get somebody else, maybe some draft picks, and then keep Nerlens, or have Okafor and you don't have Simmons. Okafor and Nerlens. Never mind. Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Simmons is the easy pick. I mean, if you're going to trade anyone, trade Embiid. Guy hasn't seen the court. You might still be able to get something for him. Trade Saric. You never seen him play. No, I mean, Noel is athletic. He's long. He's fantastic. I mean, the only reason you get rid of him is because you're drafting Ben Simmons. That's the only reason why those guys are on the trade block. We're not really talking now about is he the number one overall pick, but is he the best scorer in the draft? Would you say that Jamal Murray is the best scorer outside of defense? Outside of that, would Jamal Murray be the best scorer in this draft?
Comes down to him or Buddy Hield.
Well, you've always been on the Buddy Hield side. I mean,
I would pick Buddy
Wooden Award winner.
I would pick Buddy.
Have you not changed? I mean, this 79 for 100 has not changed your mind that Jamal Murray is the better scorer.
I would pick Buddy just because of, if I'm looking at it this way, yeah, the 70 some out of 100 shots in a workout is good, but that's a workout. I've seen what Buddy has done in the tournament in real college games. I know it's just the tournament, but you can even look to the season.
He did no-show game in the tournament, too.
Yeah, one game.
And
everyone's allowed one bad game. Steph Curry's allowed 3 of them.
But also, I mean, you look at Jamal Murray. You can't say they didn't perform in the regular season. 40% for 3 and 20 points.
Murray didn't.
And he's
perform.
only 19. He was 18 at the time. He's 19 now. I mean,
Dave, like you said, Wooden Award winner.
Now the question:
do you want a 19-year-old excellent shooter, or do you want somebody who's 20, 22,
I'll
23?
take the experience. I'll take the 23-year-old.
Now I do want to go to one thing real quick, and this is before I go to Dave and ask if Jamal Murray is the best scorer. Would you pick Buddy Hield over Jamal Murray just in the draft sense still? Because you used to be on the side that Buddy Hield should be going to the Celtics number 3. Have you jumped ship from Jamal Murray is the better player overall and is the better pick for a team higher? So basically, your gun to your head. Are you picking Simmons? Are you picking Murray? Or are you picking Hield?
Follow-up question or counter question. Is Marcus Smart on the team when I'm drafting?
Yes, it's the same exact
Buddy
team.
Hield.
You're picking Buddy Hield still.
If Marcus Smart is not there and I was able to trade him maybe for a Jahlil Okafor, then I would pick a Jamal Murray because then he's a guy who, he can play the 2, but I can even play the 1 too, and he can play both. If I have a Marcus Smart, I have my point guard situation all wrapped up with Thomas and Smart. I'm getting that pure scorer, and I'm getting a guy in Buddy Hield.
I would think the opposite because I don't know if Marcus Smart can be that true point guard. And I mean, you look at Jamal Murray; he's a combo guard. I'm still on the side that Jamal Murray is the third best player in this draft. I think Jamal Murray is the third best player. I think it was before this workout he showed that he was the third best player or the third best prospect and I think it still reigns true. I think he would be the best fit for the Celtics. I think going with him would be fantastic. But now, Dave, I want to ask you, is he the best scorer in the draft? Because we were talking about this earlier, that, 79 for 100 is ridiculous. 80% for 3 is stupid, but is he the best scorer in this draft?
I want to say yes so badly, just to get under people's thing. So yeah, of course he is. Of course he's the best scorer. Are you kidding me? All right, think about this. You have a one guard who can play the 2. He's versatile enough, and as a pure scorer, if he can light up the 3 line like this, we're already seeing flashes of the NBA game falling back to that 3-point line where defense is less valued, where you can get away with easier shots because if they play you hard, you're going to go to that free throw line, get some free shots. And he's not a bad free throw point shooter either. So, at the end of the day, he's going to get you points by the bucket load. But there's no reason that this guy should be taken anywhere past 4. He should be 3, definitely. 4, even okay. I would take him. I know it's not a perfect fit, but value.
That's the one thing with the Suns, though. The Suns have a crowded front court, so if they don't,
if the Suns are good at one thing, it's dumping talent.
True. You get rid of Isaiah. You get rid of Ben. You get rid of Dragic. So they're easily.
What would be an interesting kind of situation though for the Suns?
What's that?
Is before I go into that, I just want to make the point with Heel and Murray. It's 3A, 3B. There's not much room in between them. But with the Suns, if they did land a Jamal Murray, what they could do is, because they've got Bledsoe and Knight, they could move one of them because their contracts are ridiculous. Bledsoe's up in 2019, Knight's all the way till 2020. You get a lesser contract with the rookie than you would the 5-year vet. I would put my odds on maybe trading Brandon Knight because it's 2020 compared to 2019. And you can get a guy who can play the point next to Booker, coming from a similar system as both of them came out of Kentucky with Calipari.
Well, the one thing to consider, that would be an interesting backcourt if you could get all those stars to line up. But I think the other thing I'm thinking is, how much does this increase the value of that number 3 overall pick or number 4 overall pick if he falls? You got to think other teams are seeing this and going, maybe we got to trade up for this guy. Maybe the value is there now.
I'm going to throw something out there. There was an article that I read online, I believe it was ESPN, where they threw out the situation. You're the 76ers. We said it. You're going to take Ben Simmons at number 1. Why not trade Ja for that number 3 pick? Then you can get Simmons, Murray, and get rid of one of Ja or Nerlens.
It would not be NBA draft talk if Ricky did not bring up trading Jaleel before.
Dave mentioned it, and I'm just saying, that's one player that the Sixers could go after. And Chad Ford has tweeted out that the Sixers are looking for a top 6 pick for Okafor.
Okafor was a 3 originally, right? Or 3 or 4?
They are seeking a top 6 pick for him.
It's not crazy to suggest, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm looking at all this stuff, and I'm looking at this, and I look at the 76ers, and I say you don't trade Ja. I think trading him is just kind of blowing up everything. And does it increase the value of that 3rd pick? Yes. I think Jamal Murray's performance, in camps, in workouts, has been phenomenal. It definitely increases it. It makes him more of an interesting prospect. But also, I don't want to say would it scare people off, but you look at the Celtics and they're trying to trade out. They're trying to get a superstar already. They're not trying to wait. So maybe they're scared off of a guy, or maybe not scared off, but maybe they're hesitant to draft a guy because they want to trade someone. They don't want to bring someone in and then trade him immediately. Maybe you look at the Phoenix Suns. They don't want to crowd that front court even more. You look at the Timberwolves. You don't want to bring in a guy who's a scorer only, because you look at that team. You got Wiggins, who is basically supposed to be the star. You look at Cat. He's supposed to be a star. You got Levine there. These guys are all scorers. You don't want to put another scorer.
You need another scorer in that crowd.
But that's the thing. I don't know if you want to.
That's the knock on Ricky Rubio, is it not?
Well, the thing is that he's just not a good shooter. He's not a good scorer. He's just not a good shooter. The thing with Chris Dunn, he's a better shooter. He's a better defender. He can pass better.
Fair enough.
That's the thing. Would he even fall because people are like, he's too good of a scorer? That's kind of stupid to say, but would teams even be put off by this because they don't really they can't see the true fit for him in their system?
No, that's a valuable question. The problem is it all comes down to team need and what they value the most out of a player. A lot of teams these days, I think, are going to value that 3-point shot higher, especially after watching the last 3 seasons in the NBA where
watching the Warriors.
Just the Warriors even in the last 2. It's 3-point shooting is so highly valued. Okay, you've got a knock on defense. Well, who does that remind you of? 3-point shot, not great defender. Well, I don't know. Maybe the unanimous MVP. But I don't want to make the comparison because that's just asinine.
Well, and I mean, people have made the same,
value.
People have made the same comparison to. I believe it was a few podcasts ago. There was some weird stat that they had with even Buddy Hield where they tried comparing it to Steph Curry.
It's purely what teams value, and a lot of these front offices, I think, are going to go that way. I think it was last week or the week before, started talking about Marquise Chris, how he's jumping up the boards like crazy because of athleticism and length. Okay, well, what teams value that? Because, his top end is off the charts because you can't teach that. There's so much raw talent there because he's so young. Jamal Murray, another young guy, he's 19. He's got so much room to grow. So I'm not saying... he's 6'5", with a 6'7" wingspan, so he's got the length he needs at point guard. He can go and, play defensively.
He could bully point guards too.
Yeah.
If he's going up against most point guards, he can bully them. Not some of the great defenders like Chris Paul. He's not gonna be able to bully them. But weaker guys like Isaiah Thomas, if he doesn't go to the Celtics, if he's going up against Isaiah Thomas and he's backing him down, you're gonna have to put a shooting guard on him. You're not gonna be able to guard him with a traditional point guard. I look at this though, and back to the original question: is he the best scorer? I'm just saying, are we forgetting Brandon Ingram? This is a guy compared to KD, who is probably the second best scorer in the NBA right now.
Ingram and. I only say this because you say compared to KD.
Or his ceiling is KD.
Yeah.
Well, the big difference we got to remember about KD is, the bodies might be similar, but KD was bringing down boards. Ingram, he ain't doing that.
7 boards a game.
Yeah,
that's
compared to
down boards.
double digits that KD was bringing down back when he was on the Longhorns.
See, one thing that I do want to compare though was KD was the man in Texas. KD was not, going up against anyone in Texas. You look at Brandon Ingram, and he brought down 7 boards on a team with a Plumlee who just dominated the boards there. He was going up with Grayson Allen. He was going up with guys who were also grabbing boards. That Duke team was complete. That Duke team was able to make was almost able to make a national championship run. I look at Brandon Ingram, and I look at him and against out of the rebound side. I'm talking straight scoring.
Yep.
He against Jamal Murray, a better 3-point shooter. Jamal Murray shot around 40%, and I think Jamal Murray had more threes because that's what he was mainly working off of. But if you look at Brandon Ingram, averaging around 41% from 3, he was a 44% field goal shooter. 17 points. That was kind of taken up by Grayson Allen because Grayson Allen was mainly the scorer there.
Right.
68% from the free throw line. You want to see that jump up more, but I think that will develop. I look at Brandon Ingram, and I think he's easily the best scorer in this draft class because he's a guy who's 6'10". He can use his body to maneuver in and out of the lane. He could use it to post up. He can use it to shoot from deep. I think he's able to have the body type that's harder to guard. He's able to stretch the floor. I look at Brandon. He's easily the best scorer, not only because of his body type and because of his size, but his ability just to shoot. Obviously, I would say that Jamal Murray is the best shooter in the class, but scoring wise, Brandon Ingram still takes it for me.
I'm gonna go off of what Dave said and take a point that Dave said, and I'll equate it to this. In today's NBA, who would you rather have as a scorer? Not because of what they've done, just their play style and what they bring to the table. KD or Steph Curry, because that's what we're looking at. And in this NBA, I'm looking at that kind of a style of Steph Curry, and I'm saying, give me that.
KD without a doubt, because the thing about Steph is, 400 threes is fucking stupid. I'm not going to deny it, and I'm not going to deny how great Steph is, but Steph is a once-in-a-lifetime player. Or not once in a lifetime, but he is a
But I'm not saying Murray's going to be exactly like that. I'm just saying that style in this NBA, I'm taking that because that's going with the trend.
But the thing what I'm going is, you don't need anyone else around KD to do what KD does. KD is putting up 28 a night because KD is just a scorer who does that by himself. The thing with Steph is he works mainly off the pick and roll. He's got this other best shooter in the NBA besides him and Klay Thompson. That's taking off defenders there. With KD, he creates his own shot. Obviously with Steph, he can shoot from 55 feet out and swish
it's a little broken.
But the thing is with Steph is a transcendent player in the NBA. I don't think anyone can do the same thing like him. I think just looking at it, style-wise, I would take KD's scoring over Steph because Steph can be on and off where KD can get to the basket and get a high percentage shot there.
And you just hit the best point, and this is the point that I want to look at with every single one of these players that you look at in the draft, whether it's Simmons, whether it's Ingram, whether it's Murray, whether it's Hield, is you can have the best scorer in your mind. You can have a KD. You can have a LeBron who fucking put the team on my back. But in the NBA, especially right now, and the Warriors are proving it, you need a team. You need that person to fit into your system and make everybody else better. And you can't bank on Simmons coming into Philadelphia or Ingram coming into LA doing it all themselves.
I don't think you could bank any kid doing that themselves. I think
that's what I'm saying.
There's a specific breed of players, and I think we've only seen a couple players who have been able to put the teams on their back immediately.
And I equate this to me, the one mind, and it's because we're from Chicago, is I immediately think of Derrick Rose. We got Derrick Rose, and it's like one player, boom, franchise changed.
Okay, but that's also because we had other players in place there. You had Joakim Noah there still. You had a decent head coach. I mean, you're talking about different systems there. You're talking about a 76ers team who won 10 games last year. You're talking about a Bulls team that year. I mean, that wasn't even their pick. That was the Knicks pick, right? And that was a pick that had odds of like 0.8%. So I mean, that wasn't even a high team there. I look at that and I say D Rose came into the perfect fit system right there. It's kind of like the Rams this season getting Jared Goff. I mean, Jared Goff, he's going to a Rams team that was near 8-8. It's a Rams team that has been near the playoff hunt, and they just needed to add that one piece. D Rose was that one piece. I mean, you're getting a number one player when you're a team that was not in the playoff hunt that year, but you were close to the playoffs. I mean, this wasn't a team that was like 10-72 or whatever it was.
Right. I completely agree with you on that. And getting back to the KD comparison versus Steph, I'm with you, Sean. I absolutely would take KD. KD can go out there on his own and score. Doesn't need nobody. It's great that Russell Westbrook is there, but even without Westbrook out there, you've seen what KD can do. He can carry this team on his own. So.
And in some minds, Westbrook is holding KD back. That's my mind.
Oh my God.
I disagree there. I mean, I think Russ might be the best player right now on that Thunder team, or at least the past 2 seasons he has been. But that's also because KD's been dealing with injury problems.
Yep.
Final question here. Would you take Jamal Murray number 3 if you're the Celtics? Saying there's no trades, nothing happening. Would you take Jamal Murray number 3 with the Celtics? Because we don't think he's going number 1 or 2.
Well, if there's no trades, then most likely. But the first thing I think of
most
is this is
where's Buddy Hield at?
Well, this is one thing. It'd be right now 50-50. That's how I feel.
Be a man.
50,
pick a side.
50.
Pick a side.
Then fine, fucking Hield because I love Buddy Hield. Biased all the way. But the one thing I'm throwing out there because I've been sitting on this for a few minutes now, and since this is the last time I'm ever going to get to say this on this podcast, it's going to be interesting if the Celtics do, like we mentioned earlier, trade the pick. 2 teams that could be looking in. First thing I thought, the T-Wolves could go up and get Murray. But then I thought to myself, why would they trade probably Levine in the 5th when the Suns aren't going to take Murray even if he falls there? Look to the Pelicans to maybe make a move if they really want Murray.
See, I'm disagreeing there because you're talking up Hield so much. I don't think Hield goes in the top 5, and Pelicans are.
I just like Hield.
Take
Hield. Like Hield.
I know, what I'm saying is if you're taking a guy like Hield, take him at 6. I mean, he's the one knock on him is his age. He's not a bad scorer.
Right.
They're kind of similar in the way that Jamal Murray and Buddy Hield are bad defenders. Hield can be a scorer. Take him at 6. I look at that and I say, why trade up for the T-Wolves too? Because we talked about that. That's just crowding scorers right there. Jamal Murray's more of a scorer. I know he's a great 3-point shooter, but he's also more of a scorer. You're crowding scorers up there. I say you need a guy who can pass it off to your scorers, but also can be not a guy you rely on, but a guy who can be good in pressure moments, like a Chris Dunn, who can be able to stretch the floor and be able to shoot the ball.